Have you ever heard the old adage, you are what you eat? The fact of the matter is, you are the result of all of the chemicals that enter into your body or that take place in your body. We are electromagnetically charged, hormone producing machines. We were literally created from the beginning to be able to experience and interact with the divine realm, infinite intelligence, the universe around us, by the way that our physical bodies work. So the old adage, you are what you eat, is true. But did you know that every time you think an emotionally charged thought, now the thought can precede the emotion can precede the thought, it really doesn't matter what the order is. The truth of the matter is, every single time you think an emotionally charged thought, whether it be happy or unhappy, your body releases a cocktail of various hormones that enter into your bloodstream, and your blood carries those chemicals throughout your body. The cells in our bodies are comprised of these chemicals, and as these cells enter into the different organs of our body, our bones, our nerves, our skin tissue, of course that's the largest organ of the human body, but as these electromagnetically charged chemicals enter into our bloodstream and begin to enter into the various aspects of our physical body, we actually become those very things. I'm going to talk to you about that in just a minute. Hey everyone, Thomas Shirley here. I help you manifest your kingdom. We've been talking about the actual self, who you really are at conception, that unique signature expression of infinite intelligence, of God, source, whatever nomenclature you want to attach to that. We are clearly created. There is clearly intelligent design at play, and we were created so that we could interact with the supernatural realm. At conception, we have full understanding, full recognition, and full interaction with who and what we truly are. I'm going to provide a link at the end and let you check out the video that I released prior to this video, manifesting from your original expectation. That expectation is who you are. It's what you are. It's the unique reality that you became, one of a kind, never has been. When you came into human form at conception, you had full interaction. However, as we grow and experience life with all of the different difficulties that life likes to throw at us, we often become transformed into something that expects something else. And that can be through abuse, it can be through poor nutrition, which is actually a really, really big deal. It can be through certain types of environments that we grow up. It could be through somebody dying, passing away, somebody getting very sick, you as a child possibly getting very sick. And as we grow, these electromagnetically charged chemicals that enter into our body and shape us after the image of those thoughts. You literally are not only what you eat, you are also what you think when there is emotion at play. As these chemicals begin to shape us and change us, we begin to develop what I call a very strong series of flesh patterns. I think that probably ego would be something very close to what I'm going to be talking about. One of the great struggles that we have in the manifestation world, so teachers, coaches, things like that, I think one of the big struggles, one of the things that's hurting us, is we're very focused on manifesting according to like specific details. Like I need more money, need a lover, need health, need job situation, success, whatever it might be. So we get very focused on manifesting this concept of the ego, this original dysfunction, as Eckhart Tolle calls it in his book, A New Earth. This dysfunction that is present, this need to find a way to make myself something, to hold on to something, to better myself in the eyes of others, to make myself feel better, be stronger, more encouraged. These are also flesh patterns. So a small child that's abused maybe once, maybe a few times, maybe habitually over a period of time. Throughout that young child's life, those chemical processes that take place every time that trigger is hit are literally shaping that child into that image, into the image of those emotions. So perhaps there was a feeling of helplessness, as there just about always is when it comes to abusive situations. Perhaps a feeling of being betrayed or being alone or unwanted, unloved. And these different chemically charged reactions that take place in the body shape that young child. And so as they grow up, they might be very insecure, but people might not recognize the insecurity because they might lash out in anger. They might be the bully or the control freak. They may be someone that feels like they have to be a reclusive and very introverted and withdrawn from people. There are any number of ways that this really manifests in the human body and becomes the flesh patterns, becomes the identity that we conceive ourselves to be, because we have literally shaped ourselves after the image of these emotionally charged thoughts that we have thought. Each one of us is unique biologically and energetically. It's going to be different in the way that it manifests in every single person. But suffice it to say that every single one of us growing up on planet Earth right now has present in our bodies flesh patterns. You've got good flesh patterns like learning how to brush your teeth, tie your shoes, wash the dishes, do the laundry, feed the cat, talk to the kids, play with the kids, whatever. So you may have some good habits that have been programmed into your body, but I'm talking about the stuff that makes manifestation seem so damned hard, okay? Manifestation is very, very simple. The concept and the application of manifestation. The issue always comes down to what's going on inside of me that's making me not interact appropriately and effectively and intimately with the supernatural realm, as we have been led to call it, the corporate consciousness, where the infinite vast intelligence of so much more than we can even comprehend with our limited minds is interacting in this play called planet Earth and interacting with humanity and all of creation to create, to establish a better way, a more perfect, balanced way to incorporate love and light and healing and transformation for the world. There is a tremendous awakening taking place right now on our planet. And that tremendous awakening is causing people to come out of that mindset that the world system has programmed into us. So flesh patterns, let's talk about that. Say you're someone that wants to, I don't know, get better health. Maybe you want to lose some weight. Let's do that. You have present in your body, most likely, flesh patterns that make losing weight a ridiculous struggle, right? Like you cut out this, you cut out that, but there's always that mindset that you can literally feel working in your body that says, I should go get that, double latte, friggin' double caramel sauce from the coffee shop. I should have, a donut or 5. I'm gonna eat this or not eat that. And we get in this mindset. If you've ever had any type of addiction at all, you know that it is difficult to generally break the bands of that addiction and be free from it. It can be a very, very difficult thing. The reason for that is the flesh patterns that are at play within us. So just about every approach that I've heard to this subject, and I think the medical industry is probably, it's called the healthcare industry. It's not. It's the medical industry. It's very focused on what? Symptoms. So if you go into the doctor and you say, I keep having this chronic headache, it comes and goes, and when it gets there, it kind of messes me up, and maybe the doctor says it's a migraine or it's something else, but they want to treat the headache. Well, you have a headache because something else is going on, And so there is a time for symptomatic approach, like say when you get your fingers cut off on a construction site or something like that. There's a time for a symptomatic approach. Like you gotta stop that bleeding, try to get the fingers back on if possible. There's all different types of specific symptomatic ways to approach a situation where there's like a severe injury or something along those lines. But when it comes to our overall physical health, and just stay with me for a second, just relax. I know I'm talking about manifestation, chill, okay? When it comes to physical health, for example, we want to be focused on, I have a headache, so I need to take this pill. I've got a sneeze, so I need to take this pill. Or I'm fat, so I need to take this pill. Or I need to cut this food out. Or I need to incorporate this food. Or I need that supplement. We become very, very symptomatic related to every aspect of our lives that we want to see change in, okay? I call it detail-oriented manifestation. And if you will take this journey and learn how to manifest according to the original expectation of your actual self, the very reason, the very scope, the breadth, height, length, and depth of what you came into this world for, all of the flesh patterns can change. So the common approach to manifestation is, I need money. So I'm going to focus on money. I'm going to learn how to be non-resistant, right? I'm going to learn how to get into that meditative flow, learn how to be a receptive heart and have gratitude. And why am I doing this? Because I want the finances to come into my life. Maybe you're lonely romantically. You want someone that you can go to bed with every night, wake up with every night. And so you have this desire to manifest a partner. And so you begin to put your focus on that, and you learn techniques, and you meditate, and you make affirmations, and maybe you journal and write out the dreams that you would like to take place. The intent to manifest according to the details is how we normally focus on something like this. But let me ask you a very valid question. If you did not have a physical body and you were not living in this physical world, you did not know what addiction was because you had none. You did not know what it was like to want to see a relationship healed or ended or restored because you would not have the flesh patterns at play working in tandem with what is happening in your life. You wouldn't be focused on that at all. So what would you be focused on? Think about that. If you didn't have physical needs and physical wants, what would it be that you would want most to be the experience of your life? If you did not have the flesh patterns and the needs and wants of the flesh patterns, what would you most crave, most enjoy, most want in life? I believe that it is joy. I believe that joy or happiness, and I know that they technically have kind of different meanings, but I think happiness is a really great way to describe joy, because when we think of joy, we think like joyful, whatever. Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Christmas is right around the corner. No! We think of joy almost as something maybe a little bit beyond our reach. But just about all of us can relate to the concept of happiness, right? Makes me happy when, I get a nice Christmas gift. It makes me happy when I have a great day with my family. It makes me happy when I get to experience certain things in this life. But remember, we're working from the mindset, just for a minute, of not having this physical thing going on that we have going on. And so there's no physical flesh patterns at play. And so there's no resistance in that area. So we don't need the typical resources that we're accustomed to needing now. So imagination. With no physical point of attraction, no physical needs, no physical wants, you would want to be happy. You would want your entire experience to be filled with joy. Now, things that accompany joy, or should I say more accurately, the different aspects of joy would be love, it would be peace, it would be patience, temperance, kindness, gentleness, and faithfulness, having faith and confidence and boldness and an ability to imagine a much better world. So try to stay there with me for just a minute. In fact, I would recommend, if you're able to, go ahead and pause this video, okay? When you pause this video, I want you to just sit in quiet for just a minute. It just takes a minute, it really does, to begin the process of moving in the direction that I'm talking about here. I just want to close your eyes for just a moment if you can, okay? Close your eyes, get quiet, and really get into this mindset. Just kind of leave your body behind for just a minute. Leave this physical body behind for just a minute. Get into an imagined space in your mind, or an assumed space in your mind, where you have no physical needs. You don't need the chair you're sitting on. You don't need the legs you're standing on. Get into that mindset for just a moment. Now, as much as you can feel and sense the absence of your physical wants and needs, I want you to really tune into the concept of happiness. What does happiness feel like? Now, you may think of an event or some type of a thing that you enjoy that makes you happy. That's okay. Take that feeling and let go of the event or the experience. Let go of that. Take that feeling and come back into that place where you don't have the physical wants, you don't have the physical needs, and just try to rest there. Maybe bounce back and forth just a little bit, like a buoy out on the water, just kind of bobbing back and forth a little bit, because it's going to be hard maybe at first for you to get into that place. But in that place of having no physical wants, no physical needs, and having some level of happiness, some level of joy, peace, maybe some quiet's there for you, let yourself understand that that place right there, that is who you really are. Now, not perfectly, don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that you're going to take a few seconds and suddenly be there. And maybe you will, some will. I'm saying that once you sense the feeling of joy, disconnected from physical experience and the things that your body and mind crave, that is the place that you're looking for. And as you begin to cultivate or continue to cultivate, because many of you have been on this journey for far longer even than I have, but as you cultivate this experience of joy, of happiness, of just peace, man, in a place of rested contentedness, you will actually bring yourself around the struggles of the flesh pattern. So you have what appear to you to be boundaries, right? Like there are hurdles inside of you. You try to live that life. You try to experience a stable mind, a stable heart. You try to change the experience of your body to manifest health, finances, whatever. You're trying to do those things, and those things literally just become one more obstacle after the other that I have to run around, crawl under, crawl over, or take a sledgehammer to knock it down. Listen, the very best thing that any of us can ever do is make the focus, find out first who you are, because you'll show yourself who you are. Find out who you are. And once you get a taste of that, man, I'm talking about just the tiniest little taste, you will want more. Now, I'm not saying that the process of going through some of these hurdles, these obstacles of having to deal with maybe flesh patterns or having to deal with specific manifestations are not going to be a part of your process, because almost always they will be. There will almost always be aspects of your life experience in your flesh and in your outer world that, and your mind, your thought processes, that will need to be corrected and worked with. But if you can get that long-term goal and you can recognize, wait a minute, that's who I really am, so what the hell is all this shit that's in the way here? But once you got that who I am thing going on, this stuff actually becomes a little bit easier. And here's the really cool part about it. Once you have this aspect of experiencing the divine life will now speak to you and highlight the areas that most need to be addressed. Now, don't misunderstand me. You can go around the other way, just like I've said previously in other videos. You can go around the other way, and you can focus on the details, and you can try to manifest through these things right here. But remember, my friend, you are a supernatural divine sovereign, and you are here to manifest the kingdom. Remember, I am here to help you manifest your kingdom, okay? So you're here to do that. And if you choose to go through the obstacles and the hurdles and make it difficult and struggle through it, and maybe you're like, I was in the Marines, boy, we do difficult for breakfast. You know, great, good for you. I'm 47 years old. I've had enough difficult. I've been getting my tush kicked the better part of my life, and I'm tired of it. And I'm finding the easy way right now, and I love it. It's not easy in the sense that it doesn't require something, because it actually does. It requires everything. It requires a sacrifice of all of the desires to see these things, because what I really want is the prize. The Apostle Paul talked about, in one of his letters to one of his churches, he talked about how that he did not consider himself to have apprehended Christ and the resurrection yet, but that he pressed forward for the mark of the high calling of God in Christ. Now, I'm not coming to you from a Christian perspective, but I'm a big believer in the power of the Spirit of Christ and the resurrection Spirit of Christ. Considered himself not to have apprehended. He'd done all these things. He'd overcome so much. He bragged several times throughout the Bible about how he'd overcome this issue and overcome that issue, and how he'd been used by God to do this and used by God to do that. But when it came down to it, he recognized, I have gotten a glimpse of who I am. And I see all this stuff that I'm still working through. So you're going to have to get to a place in your life where you really decide what you want. Do you want to manifest some details, or do you want to rule in your kingdom? And do you want yourself as a whole, complete, perfect expression of the corporate consciousness of infinite intelligence? Do you want that person to direct you? Because that person, the I am in you, the you are that you are, will show you the things that need to be addressed and dealt with along the way. And what you will find as you focus on the goal of apprehending that intimacy with your actual self, what you will find is that though you will be led to address various aspects of things present in your flesh, and in your outer experience and in your thought processes, you will ultimately find that much of it will fall away by itself. Why? Because once you place your attention solely on the goal of finding who you are, everything else fades out. It becomes dark, it becomes dim, it becomes periphery. In essence, what I'm telling you to do right now is ignore the flesh patterns. You might say, man, I'm addicted to cigarettes. You know what? I'm sorry. That sucks, right? They're gross. And they're dead. I'm addicted. I gotta get out of the cigarettes. I gotta change what's going on in me. I've got to put this down and be done with this. Great. Do you want a shortcut? Find the power that's within you that's there to raise you to consciousness, to make you see who you are in the kingdom that you are supposed to be ruling and reigning in. Will manifest when you make the pursuit of the source of that life your primary goal. Promise. Honest engine. Ignore the flesh patterns. Ignore the details as much as you can. Now, don't misunderstand me. Those flesh patterns, they're gonna keep coming up, man. They're gonna find a way. Don't look at this as a quick fix overnight. I know that's what we often look for, and many times we can experience. But the truth of the matter is, when we have grown up alienated and separated from our actual selves because of the flesh patterns, because of the thoughts, because of the experiences, when we have grown up separate from that, it's going to take the vast majority of us time to go through the process of allowing our actual self to rise to the top. Neville Goddard called it the dimensionally greater version of ourselves. So my encouragement to you today is stop worrying about the details and begin to express yourself toward your actual self and say, you know, I really want to get to that place where joy is my pursuit. Because if you're interested in living a life of joy, guess what life is going to give you? The more you are in joy or in love with your life and with who you are, the more the flesh and everything else will begin to adjust and line up with that. Now, like I said, it may take a process and you may have some flesh things that you have to work through, but at the end of the day, your actual self will rise up in joy and change everything. So don't forget to check out these videos and leave me some comments below. Let me know a little bit about your experience when you take time to find your actual self and the emotions that you experience there. Focused on joy. Let happiness be the place that you manifest from. You'll never regret it. Until next time, you guys have a great day.